In part 2, we're going to look at the throttle control motor. Where is it? What does it do? And how do we test it? First, we're going to look at where is it? Well, when you open the hood, it's right there in front of you. It's pretty easy to see as long as you know what you're looking for. And here's the side view from the driver's side. Now I'm going to zoom in on this so that we can see some things a little bit better. You're going to notice this connector. It's a 4-wire connector, and that's the throttle motor connector. And then there's another connector. Now this is 3-wire, and it's the throttle position sensor. Next, what does it do? The throttle motor is operated by the PCM, and it opens and closes the throttle valve. Now you'll also see the magnetic clutch that is mounted between the throttle motor and the actual valve, and it connects the throttle motor with the throttle valve. The throttle motor and the throttle plate, they're all connected with gears. That's what all this looks like in pictures and graphics. Now let's see what it looks like electronically by looking at the diagram. Here's the diagram. Now notice the 2 coils that are inside this solid box. According to the diagram, this is a solid box, which means everything in it is included in that box. So one is the throttle control motor with a power and ground for the motor, and the other one is the magnetic clutch, and that's for a power and ground for the clutch. The ECM can simply reverse the direction by reversing the polarity. So how do we test it? Now let's look at this throttle motor. Inside the throttle motor, inside the body, in here is the actual motor. The front part out here is the actual magnetic clutch that spins, and then you've got the gears. The gears are what actually connect with the gears on the end of the actual throttle plate inside the throttle body. And we have a 4-wire connector. So it should be just 2 circuits that need continuity. We reverse the polarity to change the direction. So let's see how we can test it. We have a 4-pin connector. So which wires do we need to check? Well, you can actually review the wiring diagram and look at the color code of the wires, or you can simply do a continuity check across the wires. Since there's 2 coils, only 2 should have continuity, and the other 2 should have continuity as well, but not all 4. It's really pretty simple. All I'm just using is some jumper wires that I have, so I'm connecting the blue to one side and the red to the other. When I give it power, the motor spins. So I'm going to take these 2 pins out of this side and just connect them to the other side. Everything is still hooked up. So now when I power this side, I should get clutch, the magnetic clutch should engage. Turn this so you can see it a little bit better. So you see, by working it this way externally, there's 2 coils, 2 electric parts of the circuit. We have the motor and we have the magnetic clutch. So the computer, being in charge, can either power the motor, or it can power the clutch, or it can power them both together. So it can make that throttle plate move just a little bit, and it can change polarity, make it move back, or it can make it move a lot and change polarity and make it move back. Now remember, I talked about the cable. In this earlier version, the cable is still there because it's a backup function. But this has proved to be so reliable, now they've completely done away with the cable, and they control the throttle plate totally with a throttle control motor, and it's all computer controlled. Now if you want to test this while it's still mounted on the truck, it's just as simple. You unplug the connector, which gives you access to the 4 pins. You find 2 of them that have continuity, and if you're on the magnetic clutch, you should hear that magnetic clutch click. Or if you're on the motor side, you should hear the motor spin. So you don't have to disconnect this thing from the truck to actually test it. You can just disconnect the connector to gain access to the 4 pins and do it that way. But on the bench here, this gives you a much better visual of what's actually going on. So now we know where it's at, what it does, and how to test it.